Thank you. Aim high. That's right. We can keep repeating that, and I want to back up what she was saying because even at my work, we talk about what's called the 8 dimensions of wellness. Obviously, mental health is a part of it. Your physical health, your financial security, but also your occupational health is we just have to face it. It's a part of our mental health. If you have a job, if you have an occupation that gives you a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose, it directly impacts your well-being. So definitely something to take advantage of, especially for the young people here. And from what I could tell this weekend, there's a lot of resources if you need help with the next steps, whether doing it here in diaspora or in Rwanda. So I want to keep it going with one more question for the panelists here. And it's great because it was mentioned a few times, so we can kind of nicely segue into it. So this is for you, Dr. Antoine, especially somebody who is in psychiatry, and you've seen a lot of different cases. We talked about how sometimes we use coping mechanisms with alcohol, different substances, as a way to deal with mental health challenges. What are some of the things you've noticed, or what can you tell us about substance use and mental health, and kind of what you've seen, or just your opinion around that, around kind of the Rwandan community and things that you've noticed or things we should be aware of?
Thank you very much for the question. First, I would like to thank the panelists. I'm honored to sit with you, my friend Ghislaine, and the others that I just learned to know today. And I would like to thank the people who organized this conference because they thought about this subject. I think it's a very important subject, and I really would like to take just a second to applaud the people who organized this conference and all the people who helped around, the leaders of the community and our leadership as well, who supported them. Substance abuse and mental health, it's kind of substance abuse is part of mental health problems. It's one of the mental health problems. And it is a very challenging subject, a very challenging problem for the people who are suffering from the substance abuse problem, because it's one of the difficult thing to get rid of or to heal. It's a chronic state of mind of craving to take something because you want to hide something or you want to avoid something. There is what we call defense mechanism, and one of the defense mechanisms is avoidance, to avoid something that is emotionally unacceptable to you because you are suffering from something you do not want to face. You can try either to avoid it completely, or you can also take the drug as a form of avoidance of that kind of contact with the suffering, because you don't want to be in contact with that. It's too much, too heavy, it's too, the burden is too much. So you can, usually people will start by a little bit, you know. Here in this country, most of the young people start with cannabis, marijuana. You know, it's available everywhere, in every high school, in every, sometimes even close to the kids' parks. There are dealers who are standing there trying to addict the kids, to initiate the kids into this problem. So it's a very common problem. The people who know me, they know I talk about it everywhere. And when you start to get addicted to one substance, the risk of falling into other substance increase. Unfortunately, this is how it goes. And there are areas, especially if you're still young, if you're under 21 or even under 25 and you start using a substance, your brain is not fully developed yet. And the decision-making areas in your brain, the prefrontal cortex, are not fully developed. This is the area of your brain around here. It's right above your nose, between your eyes. It's a break. So your limbic system, this is the emotional part of your brain, the reaction, the feeling, the attitude, you know. This is very developed at a young age. You know, when you're 15, the kids start to react, they start to argue with the parents because they feel so strongly about anything. Everything is emotional because it's developed. But the problem is the brake is not developed. So you accelerate. The accelerator is very good in your car. You accelerate, but the problem, you don't have the brake. So you accelerate when it's time to brake, the judgment, the inhibition. Hey, stop a little bit. It's not time to advance. You brake, but the brake is loose. It does not work. So when you start taking drugs at a young age, it's a problem because you accelerate, but you cannot brake. So the risk of falling into addiction multiplies, becomes even higher than the person who starts using the drug at a later age. So my advice to the young people who are here or who are listening online is that, first of all, just stay away, at least for now. Stay away from the substance, okay? Whether it's cannabis, it's alcohol, it's anything else, tobacco, too much caffeine, just stay away, at least for now. Wait until your brain develops, wait until your brakes developed so you can be able to feel the danger coming and brake. Because you can be driving at 120 on the highway and you see the danger. You want to stop, but if you don't have the brake, you're not going to be able to brake anyway. Even if you see the truck coming and you want to stop, you're not going to be able to do it because you don't have the brake that is well developed. So my advice, my take-home message, if you're a young man or woman coming down here in North America, your parents are working tirelessly at home so that you can achieve your education. They don't sleep. They are doing business in Nyabugogo. They're doing business in Ruhengeri or Musanze. They are doing business in Mohanga. I can see I left like 24, 25 years ago, so I mix up the names. So they are working so hard to help you achieve your education. And you get here, and unfortunately, most of the people, younger people, when they get here, you are faced with a lot of adversity. Yeah, the country that you don't know, the weather that is challenging and changing every 4 months. There is a new weather. You do not have connections that you need, or you do not have anybody, or you have friends that completely went off course, and you don't have a reference, and your mom and dad at home, they don't necessarily understand the reality you're living here, and they ask you to go see this and this person. You don't even know how to get there, or you don't have money to take the bus to go see that person, and you're faced with some kind of loneliness in your apartment or in your building or in your room, and there is some kind of friend there who is saying, hey, you look miserable, you look horrible here. You want to try this? This is just, something easy. It's called cannabis. It's natural. It's a natural substance. You can try it once, no problem. And you don't have anybody. You don't have a reference. You don't have a connections. And you try that kind of substance once. makes you feel good, makes you feel less lonely. It makes you feel, wow. And your brakes is not well developed. You try it again tomorrow. You ask the friend. You call the parents. Can you send me a little bit of money? It's a little bit expensive. They send more money, and you get addicted into this thing. So it's very easy to fall into addiction, especially if you're young. But one of the things you need to avoid when you come here in North America, try to avoid loneliness. Because loneliness is one of the major risk factors for all mental illnesses. So when I hear a conference called Connect, and they invite me to come here, of course I'll come. I'll do everything I can to be here, because connecting with the right people is one of the key to prevent mental illness. But now I'm telling you something else. You need to disconnect. Oops. Connect conference, and I'm telling you to disconnect. Disconnect from unreal world in order to connect to the real people, to connect to the real person. Disconnect from social media so that you can connect a little bit more with the people around you. People, young people especially, are spending 5-6 hours on social media every day, every single day. That's how many minutes? 300, 400 minutes a day? Can you imagine that? If you disconnect from that thing, this is a disaster, by the way. Let me tell you something. These are multi-billion companies with unlimited resources. And they are taking you, John, Antoine, and they are putting you on a shelf. Okay? So picture yourself coming into a mall, and you're sitting on the shelf with a price tag on you and a sign for sale. Okay? Why? Because of this saying, if the product is free, you are the product. So, please, do not become a product. They put you on a shelf with a price tag on you. They hire the best neuroscientist in the world to make sure how can this person use my Snapchat more. They don't use how can we get the people addicted to Snapchat. That's what they are saying. How can we get people? So these are top neuroscientists who know exactly what to put in a thing to get people addicted. Addicted to social media, addicted to video game, addicted to the television series. They know exactly. So these are top neuroscientists, money-oriented neuroscientists who are going to consult with Facebook or Twitter or TikTok to make sure they put the best ingredients to hook up the people to their media. And they are going to say, how can we get people to use it more? But in real terms, how can we get people to become addicted to this? And you are sitting here in North America. Your mom or your dad is getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to Musanze to get potatoes to come to sell so that he can send you the money to study and to achieve your dreams, and you're sitting on TikTok for 5 hours in the evening. Just try to picture your dad working off to make sure you are well. And the next phone call you give them, you are ungrateful. You are denigrating. You are complaining or blaming them for being late to send the money. Or you are not using everything you can to give back to the community because you are so connected to these TikTok dances, women shaking their bodies, and you're scrolling like a robot, scrolling 5 hours, 6 hours in the evening, and then you're tired, you switch to Facebook, scrolling the reels, and you're tired, you switch to adult content, and watching the videos, you become like a zombie. You can't sleep, you're sleeping in the sofa, your mom is working, your dad is working, you're calling them, what are you doing? You haven't sent the money. Just try to picture that. This is going to lead me, sorry if you do this, you scratch if I pass the time, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had a secret signal. If you want to add one more thing. Yeah.
I'm sorry. And so disconnect. Just try to disconnect from social media. They are so good at making you a product on a shelf in a shopping mall, lying to you that it's free. No, they are selling you. They are selling your time. Just imagine 5 hours a day, every day, for a year. How many books you could have read? If you worked for $10, even $10, those 5 hours, how much money you would have made? If you connected with real people, how many friends, real good relationships you would have developed? So when you think like that, you finally realize that you're really a product. So substance abuse is also, I'm talking about that because it's all in the area of addictions. Electronic addictions is a disaster for the young people. Substance abuse, drug, alcohol, disaster for our young people. And the adults as well, but the young people, it's even more dangerous. So internet addiction, all those video game addictions. So these are all the addictions that are going to completely inhibit the functioning of frontal lobe, because you completely lost in trying to get the dopamine, because there's an area in your brain called nucleus accumbens, okay? It's an area in your brain that is a pleasure center. It's a pleasure center, you know, when there's something fun, there's something amazing, when you give a good speech for the first time and people applaud, you feel wow. But when you are doing something addictive, for example, you are scrolling internet videos, or watching adult contents online, or using stimulating drugs, it's going to release a lot of dopamine, okay? And this dopamine is going to act on the nucleus accumbens, and it's going to stimulate the pleasure center, which is the nucleus accumbens. But if you repeat too often that experience, at certain point, the buttons of that pleasure becomes weak because you're pushing them too much, becomes weak. So it takes more dopamine to try to stimulate the pleasure, try to feel something. So you increase the time you spend online. You try to find other creative videos to watch. You try to get a higher doses when it's about drugs. You're trying to find a more aggressive video game. It's television series that is more impact. So you can stimulate because you don't feel anymore anything. This is the problem with the celebrities falling into a drug. They spend a weekend with so much dopamine, and after that, they don't feel anything. And they try to take drugs to stimulate that pleasure center because they used it up. It completely tired, wound up. So do not murder your dopamine receptors by doing the things that are causing harm to you, to your loved ones, to yourself, and to so many people around you, and to your future as well. So I can go on and on, but time is time.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Antoine. That was amazing. Thanks to everybody who was on the panelists today. Keep clapping. Every single person here. Each subject, we can keep going for an hour on each one. Everybody opened up so many doors. A lot of what you said, Antoine, was so relevant. Addictions, like you showed, it can come in so many ways. It's not just substance use, but we have addictions on our phone every day. And the source of it's still kind of similar. It's a coping mechanisms. And you mentioned how certain things can create that need, like loneliness. So it's good that we're together as a community, and these things go really a long way. And there's so much more we can keep talking about when it comes to mental health. Of course, we have to acknowledge the history of our country. That was one of the things we were talking about a bit earlier, the genocide against the Tutsi, and all the trauma and the PTSD and the things that are brought down per generation. There's so much more we can go into, but hopefully these are things that we can bring up for another conversation one day around coping mechanisms and healthier ways to cope with those feelings of needing to either run towards something or to avoid something.
Just add
yes.
one last thing.
One quick thing, yeah.
Just 1 minute. For our young people, if you're listening and you hear, just remember to rest. Rest is the first factor. Take time to sleep at least 7 hours, okay? You don't need more than 9. More than 9, it's not good. Just between 7 and 9, just take time to rest. Find a place of rest, sleep, or do something that rest. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. Do not fool around. You cannot have 5 girlfriends and have a good mental health. Let me tell you, let's say the truth. You're juggling between girls, juggling between boys. Yeah. You cannot have a good mental health. Just the management of that is so complex. You're putting stress on yourself. So respect yourself and respect others. Respect your parents, even if they are so unperfect. They are not perfect. But do not harbor resentment against anybody. Just try try not to make a point when you discuss with people. This is put you in a state of mind of stress. And it also implies that your self-esteem is low when you want to make a point all the time. Just try to find common ground and impact people more than making a point. Just try to impact the person in front of you, connecting with them, and be grateful. Practice the attitude of gratitude. Gratitude, every morning you get up, you try to just sit down and find 5 things that you can be grateful for. This is going to save you so much stress right in the beginning of the day. So I'm giving just the common things that you can use to have just a good mental health. Because when we talk about mental health, people think it's illness. No, you can have a good mental health, but you have to practice certain things. The laws of getting oxygen every day, getting out, drinking water, practice exercise, gratitude, rest, respect yourself, respect your body, declutter, wash your dishes, okay? Declutter your kitchen, declutter your mind, okay? Declutter your schedule, just declutter. So it's very important to do just those basic things. They are going to save you a lot of mental health, and be grateful, just grateful to your parents. And today after the conference, practice that. Just give you a challenge. Write down 5 people who've been important to you. Concierge or landlord, parent, friend, just write them down and write a little sentence and just call them. Don't text them. Call them and say, hey, 5 years ago, you've been an important part of my life because of this and this and this. And observe how you feel after you've been grateful. Just observe how you feel, and you realize that you are going to feel good. You'll be in a place of peace that is going to promote your good mental health. And as Clarisse said, and the others, believe in something. Believe that you can get there, and believe. As for me, I also believe in God. So you have to believe in something to thrive for something, to thrive for a better place, to thrive for. It helps you not to expect to be happier when you get there. No, be happy today, because where you come from is already far enough. So compare yourself to where you come from instead of, I'm going to be happier when I get my degree. No. There was a time I didn't speak French nor English. Now I speak both languages. Wow. There, I'll get there too. So thank you so much, and I'm sorry for it.
Check. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you again. Thank you for having us. Thank you to all the panelists. And speaking of grateful, I'm grateful to be here, grateful for you all. And it really was a pleasure. Keep clapping it up for our panelists. They all did a great job.